in. I'd like to start, JF, you raised, this is a question for Peter, but that small molecule versus biologics. Can the 9-year timeline issue be addressed we know how important budget neutral is, it's Congress. How can it be addressed in a neutral way? Peter, I know you've done some work on this, so I'll kick that to you. And a key question, are lawmakers interested in making this change? And I'll share some thoughts on that, but Peter, over to you.
Sure, thank you. So the way that this bill is scored, there's really an emphasis on just the next 10 years. And, when Gaurav, JF, and I look at this bill, we think about its implications in the 2030s and 2040s, right? So all the drugs, that Congress is trying right now to figure out how to price control, they're drugs that are already on the market. They can't be uninvented, right? So whether you end up setting the prices of 10 or 15 drugs, in the year 2026 or 2027, that changes the math that Congress is focused on, the CBO scores in this decade, and that, all of Congress's attention is on. And what we're basically saying is, okay, but, in an effort to try to save, a few $1 billion extra by price controlling some small molecule drugs, 9 years instead of 13 years, what you're doing is creating this toxic disincentive for investors to plant the seeds of new small molecule drugs for the clinical studies for drugs that won't launch until, let's say, the year 2030. And if they launched in 2030, ordinarily they would go generic in the year 2044. And this bill will now essentially cut off their profits in the year 2039. This is nothing you've paid attention to, or that you care about, or that you have bothered to really try to understand. This is an inadvertent byproduct of trying to extract a few $1 billion more by targeting some specific drug.